Oh my god, I apologize. I just couldn't get it starting. I had some issues with the phone. Did you notice that the more you use the phone, the less the battery remains? Like when I bought this phone, I would charge it in the morning and I would have it for 4 days. Sometimes it's one of the reasons I even got this model because I was like, well, the battery is so great. Now it lasts for half a day. Sometimes, if I'm lucky, it lasts a day. But when I used to be a little lad, when I was growing up, I remember that you could actually open the phone and you would have a battery, and you could go and you could purchase an actual battery for a phone. I know, amazing, right? So if you had the phone model, you would just buy the battery and then you swap it up, and there you fucking go. However, it doesn't work like that anymore. And you know what's interesting? Someone told me that the government, oh my god, the government can track your phone even if it's turned off. Like, as long as the battery still has power, they can track your phone. And, you know, I'm just wondering if one has to do with another. Usually, the way it works is that a company, you know, like they want to make money, and they're like, well, wouldn't it be nice if we could actually sell people a new phone every single time they need to change the battery? And then the government comes up and it's like, hey, you know, can you make it difficult for people to change battery? Because Homeland Security, you know? And the company, oh, Homeland Security, oh, say no more, of course. I mean, we're willing to comply. So everyone gets what they want, right? Like, the company gets to sell you a new model every single time you get to change your battery. The government gets to listen on you because you can't change the battery whenever you want. It's kind of, yeah, Snowden did mention about this. It's kind of like, what was it, Terminator, where she would hold the phone in a plastic wrapper, right? Aluminum foil. No, aluminum foil. Yeah. Just put your phone in a microwave, can't track it from inside that. Dude, I'm not worried that the government is tracking me personally, okay? I'm just annoyed on the fact that I gotta charge my phone in order to have it functioning, and I have to charge it once or twice a day. Oh my god. Anyway, the Oscars were yesterday. John Cena appeared naked. I mean, okay. I'll just show you a picture. All right. And by the way, I want to point out that this is acceptable, right? Like, having a man that's naked appear on the Oscar, very progressive, or very American, very Californian, in tune with the times. If you were to show an anime girl, a VTuber naked, she is but a child. How dare you? That is, she is minor coded, right? Like, if you were to show Shy Lily, you put Shy Lily naked at the Oscar. Oh, you guys are perverts, coomers, obsessed. My god, you know, like, is it now like a thing where men are sexually shamed for being men? Huh? But I just want to show you this. This is what was in the newspapers today, right? Like, this facial expression, this is... How much money would you have to be paid in order to demean yourself like this? Like, you're already a celebrity. You already have fans, right? So you're not just a nobody. You're already a millionaire. How much cash do you need to be paid in order to demean yourself to such a level so that you appear on the international press with a face like this while being completely butt naked? I mean, you know, it is what it is, but don't go, it's like, oh my god, V. Oh, why don't you like the... I don't think the Oscars send a good message, okay? I genuinely don't. There is nothing enriching. You do not improve yourself by watching the Oscars. And we just tolerate it. It's not about toleration. I mean, I don't watch it. It used to be a family event. When I grew up, holy shit. The Oscars, oh my god, like, it was at 3 a.m., right? I was Romanian, so we didn't manage, like the time zone difference between the US and Romania was really big. So It was at 3 a.m. And many families, including mine, stood up all night just to see the Oscars. It was a huge thing. It was a huge event. And everyone was fully dressed at the time, okay? There wasn't people naked. I mean, there were some ladies that showed cleavage, it is true. Like, there were some titties, yes, but they were covered. And it was a very posh, very pleasant thing. You know, no one said anything controversial. Like, the actors may say, oh, yes, we want to end world hunger. We want to end, end all wars. And we want to have peace. And we love kittens. But that was pretty much it, right? It wasn't actors that would shame you for existing. It was just like that. And they were talking about good movies, like movies that actually people watched. And my wife said yesterday, hey, did you know that the Oscars are at? And I'm like, okay, so which movie do you think is going to win? And she didn't know. Why? Because she hasn't seen any movies. Last year, there were no movies. There were just 2 movies, actually. There were 2 movies. It was... and this is what the press was talking about as well. They were talking about Barbie, and they were talking about the one with the nuclear bomb. That's it. Like that was it, right? Like that is America's contribution for this particular year. That is their contribution to entertainment. I'm willing to bet China had more movies than America did. So, like, why would I watch the Oscars? Unless you're going to show me Will Smith smacking someone again and then crying after it, there is no entertainment. There is nothing to laugh at. There is nothing to smile at. It's boring. It's bland. Yeah, Oppenheimer was obvious. I know. And Oppenheimer is also something that was criticized because apparently there's a sex scene and they didn't like that. Or, I don't know. It's like his wife wasn't a black woman. I don't know what the fuck they were complaining about. But if you want to see how bad the Oscars are, you can go on Wikipedia and you can look for hold on, I'll do this myself right now. Oscars, Wikipedia, Oscars Best Picture, right? So you look at the Academy Award for Best Picture, and as you go back in time, right? You go back in time, you will notice that you recognize all of these titles, and it's not just that you recognize all of these titles, but it's also the fact that you would watch them again, right? So let's go to when I was born, because obviously we're not going to know like stuff that happened way back then, but look, you got the Titanic, right? I mean, you'd watch the Titanic again with your wife and kids, right? Like if you're old and you're sitting there and they're putting the Titanic, maybe you don't like it. Maybe you're not a big fan, but you would stomach it, right? Like, you wouldn't complain. Gladiator, right? Gladiator, good movie. Beautiful Mind. Look at this, right? Lord of the Rings. Like, don't tell me, like, if you are at a social event and someone decides to put Lord of the Rings in, right? Because it's not controversial, everyone. You're not going to throw a fuss over it, right? Like, you know what it is. But as we go towards the present, right? As we come more toward it, I don't know any of these movies, right? Like okay, so Oppenheimer won. Oppenheimer is actually good. I'll give them that. But it's like Everything Everywhere All at. What the fuck is this? Coda. The fuck? Nomadland. What the fuck? You know, like people say, oh, Parasite is so good. It's great. Okay. Is it as great as Lord of the Rings? No? Then shut the fuck up. I know that a lot of people don't agree with me with this, but I do think like you can't compare Braveheart with anything that came recently. Forrest Gump, right? Like you know what these movies are. The fact that I don't know what Moonlight is kind of concerns me. To be honest, I don't know what any of these movies are, and I'm willing to bet. I am willing to put money, right? Green Book. I don't know what the fuck it is, or Nomadland. But I'm willing to put money that if someone was to sit me down and play me this, it would be a snooze fest. I would fall a fucking sleep. And from what I understand, Parasite, the only reason that the critics like it, like maybe it's a good movie, I don't fucking know. Like people say that it should be compared to Braveheart and Forrest Gump, right? Like Best Picture Award. I'm willing to bet that most of the reasons the critics liked it is because it criticizes capitalism. This is what got their rockers going. They had many publications talking about it. They were basically saying, oh yes, well, it's a great movie for criticizing capitalism, and what's more interesting, like this is something that I believe, what was it, a movie creator was saying. He was a Norwegian guy, and he made a movie for a historical thing in Norway, right? Like he was talking about Norway's history, and he made a movie about that. But it was like a European International Film Award. And he's basically accused of not having diversity, right? So, like, the man is like, a motherfucker. Like, this movie is set in Norway the year 1600. Like, what diversity do you want? And then he talks about Parasite. And it's like, Parasite has no diversity. It's just South Koreans. Oh, no, but that is diversity. Oh, I see. I see where the criticism is coming from. Parasite, the Korean manga, no. Parasite, the movie, is different, right? Because I too thought that they made the Korean manga. No, like Parasite is I don't think it's bad, right? But you can't say, oh, best picture. Like best picture would mean that it's Forrest Gump, right? Level. I mean, like it's Lord of the Rings. It's like Titanic. I mean, I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm not saying it's motion picture either. Unless that year, everything that came out is shit. Actually, you know what? Alright, so, Parasite. The Kim family lives in a semi-basement flat in Seoul. So it's an American movie that's about Seoul. I mean, that's interesting. Does China make movies about America like that? I don't know. But anyway, so the Best Picture award in America, in Hollywood, was about Korea. So the entire American culture, 350 million people, was incapable of producing something better than this movie. Like they could find nothing in American culture that could rival this. Is this what I'm being told? Apparently, yes. Apparently, America is incompetent. Well, it is what it is. I mean, you know, with these movie directors and these actors, what can you expect? I'm saying that South Korea is actually going to overtake Hollywood. And according to the Academy, in the year 2018, it did. It did. So anyway, the Kim family lives in a semi-basement in Seoul, and they have low-income jobs and struggle for money. Min Hyuk, a university student, gives the family a scholar rock meant to promise wealth. Leaving to study abroad, he suggests that Kim Son poses as a university student to take over his job as an English language tutor. So, apparently, the movie follows the poor family who infiltrate the life of a wealthy family. And the script is based on a play that Bong wrote in 2013, and he later adapted it, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not saying it's bad. I mean, it made money, people liked it. But it's a little, you know, it's like the best Romanian movie would be American. You know, that doesn't make sense. Like, are you saying that the entire Romanian people were incapable of producing something that's... The answer is yes. It's pronounced Seoul. I see. It is a Korean movie. Why is a Korean movie at Hollywood? And by the way, I'm not being racist. I would also be curious. It's like, why is an American movie in China? Right? So, it's a fair question, right? Like, you would think that certain things should belong to the nation that's giving the awards, right? I mean, is that not how it works? It's kind of like, imagine in Japan, the best anime movie would be Chinese. I mean, I wouldn't say that it's rigged or anything, but you would have to ask the question. It's like, why did Japan drop the ball that year? North Korea, best Korea? It's a pretty solid film, V. It's worth a watch. I'm not saying that it's not solid. I'm saying it may be good. But is it Forrest Gump level? Is it what's it called? Lord of the Rings level? You know, like I'm comparing it with other things that won motion pictures. And I genuinely don't think that it stands up to the test. Mexican movies get nominated all the time to the Oscars. Like, I'm not saying, look, I'm not saying you need to nationalize the movies. Don't get me wrong. But America has a population of 350 million people plus immigrants. Right? Like, America should be able to produce stuff that's American and constantly wins its own awards that are in America, right? Does that make any sense? Like, like as an American, it should be a thing of national pride. It's kind of like Britain invented soccer, right? So they invented football. It's a shameful display when Britain loses the cup. It's like it's their fucking game, and they're losing to the Germans. The Germans should win if they play better, of course. But as an English person, you should be upset. It's like, why is it that our people are incompetent and they can't play as good as the other people? Yeah, like does that make any sense? Is the criticism accurate? Nothing is Lord of the Rings level. Oh, there are things Lord of the Rings. Come on, The Matrix. You know, like when The Matrix came out, was amazing. It was mind blowing. So I would say that The Matrix is the Lord of the Rings level. No, there are many things that are at the level of the Lord of the Rings. Of course, if you're talking about the fantasy genre, then yes. But, you know, Terminator 2, I would say, is at the level of Lord of the Rings. You have to adjust them for the time they came on and with the special effects that they could do and pull off. But like, if you're talking about entertainment, like when it first came out and how glued you were to the seats, I would say that, yeah, you know, Terminator, RoboCop, The Matrix, Lord of the Rings, yeah, no, they're in the same category. Like, those were movies that were so mind-blowing that when you saw them for the first time, you were like, wow, this is amazing. I don't think that I will ever get that feeling again. I don't think that I will ever experience how it was like to see one of those movies for the first time, because there are no movies that are coming out right now which are even remotely capable of entertaining me. I watch movies and I get bored. And I legitimately thought, you know, maybe it's because I'm older. Maybe it's because I'm older and I just have different hormones in my body. And I do not get as excited as I used to be as a kid. And then I started watching some older movies. I watched Demolition Man, I watched Starship Troopers, I watched older movies, and they're fucking entertaining. So it's like, okay, then it's not me. Like, if I'm watching movies that I already seen, that I already know the spoilers of, and I am entertained, then watching this is not a me problem. Not to mention, the violence in old movies was astonishing. Like there is a movie where a kid gets blown to bits. Like you have a child, a 10-year-old, he steps on a mine and he goes splat. And they actually have like all these special effects where you can see the rib cage and the arm front. I'm like, they would never do that today. They would never ever do that today. They would not put that on the big screen, and if they did, it would be a massive controversy. It would be like, oh my god. But back in the day, they actually did try to portray realism, especially when it came to violence. Like, you watch an old slasher movie, my god, chef's kiss. Even Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like that one came, you know, more recently than the other slasher films. And they didn't shy away from the gore. But I think it's because of China, right? Like, China censors, so they don't like that. All that stuff, that would be good, is gate kept out. Yeah, it's the Chinese censors. I genuinely think that's the case. Because most of the movies, they're investing so much cash in them, and they're like, alright, well, we need to sell to China, and China doesn't like it if we do this and this and that. Starship Trooper is actually parody. It's satire. You don't understand it. Oh yes, I'm clearly incapable. Yeah, I know the thing, but I just do not see how is it that the director is making fascism look bad in Starship Troopers. Like, where exactly is the fact? Like, at no point did the military treats anyone disrespectfully, right? Like, okay, so the one thing, because I kept asking, it's like, all right, why is Starship Troopers fascist? And the one thing that people keep saying is the fact that the main character gets corporal punishment, right? Like, that is the part that horrifies a lot of lefties, right? So, for those of you who don't know, the main character, which is a soldier, he asks one of it, like he asks one of his teammates to remove the helmet during a live fire exercise, and after that guy removes the helmet, the guy gets shot in the head, right? So because of that, the main character gets whipped. Like, he is tied to a post and he gets whipped. And I'm like, okay, but like he got a guy killed. Like his actions murdered the man. In the real world, if that happened, he could have gone to prison for years. And I understand that corporal punishment is not accepted in the West, and because there are countries that still do it. But like in the West, we don't accept it. But like if you were to ask me, hey V, do you want 50 lashes or do you want to go to prison for 5 years? I would take the 50 lashes. And I mean, 5 years of your life? Holy shit. And that's assuming that it's 5 years, because probably in the real world, if an officer gets a soldier to die, to get shot, like, you would probably get more than 5 years. I mean, think about it, right? Like, you get court-martialed. The punishments there can be all the way up to 20 years. So like, what exactly is the problem? If anything, the punishment in Starship Troopers was too lax. Yeah, 20 years in the military break, that's... Yeah, I think anyone would take the lashes. And by the way, there was another thing. It's like, oh, well, they couldn't vote. And I'm like, okay, so they couldn't vote, but they were bankers, they were rich. An immigrant can't vote. Is that making America fascist? Well, probably a lot of leftists would say yes. So yeah, I don't know. People don't understand fascism. They genuinely don't. They don't understand fascism to the point where if you ask them, like, what is the fascist literature that you know? Like, most people know, okay, Mein Kampf, that's not fascism, that's Nazism. They're two different ideologies. I'm not even kidding, like, they're different ideologies. They probably don't even know the difference. And the difference is that fascism doesn't believe in race. Benito Mussolini said that race is just a delirium. Like, he can't be persuaded that true races exist. That's his quote, right? So fascism doesn't concern itself with the delirium of race. That is the quote from Benito Mussolini. Nazism does, right? Different ideologies, different economic systems as well. They're dictatorships. They don't vote, yeah. They don't have democracy, okay. But that doesn't mean that they're the same political system. A monarchy also doesn't have democracy. That doesn't make it fascist. Anyone could get the right to vote if they wanted. Yeah, and Starship Troopers did. Yeah. It's never taught in schools either than fascism bad. Yeah, it's true. Like, you go to the schools and they just go fascism bad, but they don't go why. And the only thing you know about fascism is what you see in movies and in pop culture. They don't actually explain, alright, well, this is why the system is bad. It's because it fails economically. It's because if you try to regulate the market too much, you end up with destroying the market. But they don't want to teach that, because guess what they're doing now? They're controlling the market too much. This merger between the corporations and the state. They don't want to talk about that, because then people draw a lot of parallels with progressive ideology that you see in modern America. Anyway, right, it's just fucking hell. Let's talk about Homeland Security and Gamergate. Fuck me, like, where do these topics come up from? Right? Isn't it fucking weird? Like, the last thing that you'd imagine. Oh my fucking god! Hold on. I just no, this good god, no, not again, not a fuck again. Oh, all right. I will disappoint you as well, chat. I am firmly disappointed. Again, my hopes and dreams are crushed. Do you guys know that they're making a Fallout show, right? So they're making another Fallout TV show, and I was basically saying, I think it's shit. The moment they announced, oh, it's going to be a strong and empowered, alright, no. I want the weak and disempowered for a show. Like, for once. I want my main character to be weak and disempowered. Can we have that? Maybe it would sell. I'm just saying, just do a test. Just have a weak and disempowered character. A weekend disempowered man or something. I don't know. Maybe like Guybrush Threepwood from Monkey Island. Maybe he would be sympathetic enough to like. But look at this, right? Like this, right here, right now. Fallout director didn't set out to make a show that pleases the fans. Well, you went there fulfilled by expectations, didn't you? You filled the shoes, exactly what I was thinking. And there were so many people saying, "Oh my God, V, you judged the trailer." And I was like, I was looking at the trailer. Yeah, too much diversity in the trailer. No, it's way too much. Way too much. How can you judge it? Way too much. Do you think diversity makes it... No, I don't think that. But in current year, if I see that rather than the story, the setting, the villains, like if you start a trailer and you begin with like these are the villains. Okay, perfect example. You watch an anime trailer, right? If you watch an anime trailer, what do you see? Well, you're going to see the action, like the main thing that's happening. Like if you watch Attack on Titans, what do you see? Well, you see the big titans, right? That are killing people. You see like the big titan coming from the wall. You get told a little bit about the setting, and you're like, okay, well, humanity is behind the walls now. And then you see the heroes do some cool shit, some cool acrobatics, right? Like that's how an anime trailer looks like. Now let's talk about how Attack on Titan trailer would look like if it was made by the West. Well, you would have like all the minority characters in the forefront. And they would say, the story follows the strong and empowered woman, blah, blah, blah. It would focus on the relationship between Historia and Emir. Right? Like LGBT represent. That's how the West does trailers. And when I see trailers that are done like that, I'm like, the movie is shit. When I see trailers done like Japan, I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe this movie is good. And by the way, Japan has diversity. Like Attack on Titan, very diverse anime. It's got like all sorts of representation and sexual preferences. It even has like a non-binary character. But it's this thing, you know, like the director didn't set out to make a show that pleases the fans. Then why did you pick this IP? Why didn't you pick an IP that you would want to make the fans please? Why didn't you pick an IP that you yourself were a fan? This is the question that I don't understand. Like, the rage that they are having to destroy the IPs is unjustifiable. That they have a hatred and a rage for the products that they are making movies that I can't fucking fathom. Where is this anger coming from? All of these white directors, where do you keep your hatred for the IPs? Like, they must have like a different organ. You know, like humans have a liver, a spleen, a kidney. They must have another organ where they keep all this rage. Like, pent up. You know, I just cannot imagine why they hate these IPs so much. Didn't set up a series to please the fans. Well, I guess it's not for me then. I guess I'll just pass. How's it going? What's today's rant? They're making a Fallout TV show with the purpose of not pleasing the fans. To save entertainment, we must pass this. China is actually making good entertainment. Doesn't what was it called? There's this video game that my wife was playing. Fuck, I forgot the name of it. The one with the Ushikushi anime girls that's freaking out Twitter. I'll remember. It slips my mind right now. Genshin Impact. Yes, Genshin Impact. Like, China is making Genshin Impact. That looks great. I saw a Genshin Impact commercial. It looked like fucking Walt Disney was making it. Like, it was so fucking good. And people keep going. It's like, oh, you don't understand, V. It's a gacha game. It's a gacha game. And like, can you please leave your ethics out the door? It's a money printing simulator. Like, those people are printing money. That's good. That's good for China. It's good for their economy because that company pays taxes. Oh, but people spend on microtransactions. If it wasn't that, they would spend it on casinos. Just like, I don't fucking care how people spend their money. Like, people are entitled to waste their money. Every single fucking person wastes money, alright? Every single person wastes money. Whether it is that they're buying cigarettes, alcohol, tobacco, already mentioned. Everyone has a vice. They're spending money on Twitch stuff. Why the fuck do I care? Oh, this game is evil because people spend money. Are they over 18? Yes, then shut the fuck up. I can play a gacha game without spending money, and if I can't, I'll play another game. What the... I don't understand this mentality. It's like, oh my god, people are spending money while you're playing League of Legends or Hearthstone or your other Western shit, and you're spending money on that. Like, don't fucking tell me that you don't have a vice. Don't tell me that you're judging others while you're smoking, while you're chain smoking cigarettes and spending your cash on that. You're judging someone else for buying waifus in a virtual simulation. Shut the fuck up. Let me see if I can look at this, chat. Look at this. Just look at it. Hold on. Look at this shit. This is what Disney is supposed to be doing. Like, this is in an actual city. Why isn't Disney doing these things, huh? Look at it. I mean, this is amazing. Why is China doing what? The magic of Disney, huh? Where is it? Where is it in the West? What happened to it? Where is the talent? Oh my god, I don't like Genshin. I don't fucking care if you don't like Genshin Impact. My question is, where is the talent to make this stuff? What is your stuff? What does the West produce? What is the Last of Us stuff that looks like this? Huh? Where's Abby? Where's Abby with her Innsmouth look doing this? Huh? Where's your wholesome female characters, West? Can you name me one? No, you can't. You fucking can't. Where is Kratos doing this shit, huh? You don't have anything. To be honest, I'm upset as well because I don't have anything either. My vice is video games, and for some reason, and it's my reason for living. I would die without it. I would die for it. Well, what video games? Because I can't think of any titles. Fallout the TV show is going to be Purple by 2. New favorite show. I mean, if they keep wanting to go, like we already know they're losing money. All right, like at this point, there is no more debate about it because it used to be. My favorite take was from a comic book creator, and she was like, Western comic books, right? She was talking about DC. Comic books aren't dying because manga is selling well. I'm like, wow, fucking hell, like that is some brilliant logic. At the time, there was like debate. It was, oh no, like you don't understand. The sales are online. You're only looking at the retail sales, and the retail sales are going down, but online is making a killing. Oh, it's COVID. It's COVID, you know, because people had to stay home. They just didn't want to buy video games. Like all the cope that you can possibly muster is being placed. But at the end of the day, they can't argue about it forever. It is obvious that the companies are hemorrhaging money. If they keep wanting to go 4 more years of it, I mean, by all means, you know, keep making IP. Keep putting directors that don't want to please the fans. See how that works out. Put the actresses that hate Snow White to play Snow White. Sure, you know, put actresses that hate the fans and that are very vocal about it on Twitter. Put them to play. Yeah, sure. I mean, eventually they're going to crash. No matter how big they are going to crash if they keep doing it. At least I'm pretty sure there will never be a reimagining of the King Quest series. Didn't they actually do that? I think like they actually did a remake of King Quest. But it was before the Sweet Baby era, so it was kind of shit, but for different reason. Comics are dead, buy manga is dead. Yeah, I mean, to be honest though, the age of comics is kind of coming to an end, right? It's just like, if you had an app where, you know, like the comics would have like some animations like in Harry Potter and stuff, like if you were meant to make a comic with Live 2D and you had like small animations and you had someone to narrate it, you had voice actors and stuff, that would sell. That would be really cool. But for some fucking reason, they don't want to do that. It's like, okay, well, don't do it. Eric, new comic characters just sold out 10,000 copies in just 12 hours. Yeah. I mean, you know, it's the double E era. Okay, we got like what? We got Spider-Man 2 cost $350 million to make, $90 to buy. And then you have the coffin of Ashley and Lele. Probably costed around $5,000 to make $1 million. Which one do you think is more profitable? Helldivers too. $40 costs, right? $40. Pal World. Pal World made tens, if not hundreds of millions. My favorite thing was that they were, like some industry insiders were laughing at Pal World, and they were like, we already see that people are dropping. Not many people are playing online. And the people who made Pal World said, yeah, because our business model is you buy the game, you play the game, you finish the game, and that's it. Right? It's not, our business model isn't you buy the game and you get addicted and we feed you loot boxes and stuff. No, we have a different business model. It's like you just buy it, you play it, you're done with it, and that's it. Imagine that concept. Holy shit. You know, $40 games when companies want to raise the price of $100. Yeah. Helldivers is $40. When do you think Hollywood will get around to destroying Stargate? I think they already are. I was looking into it, and from what I saw, like they were still in the negotiation phase. But Amazon has the rights, and they didn't want to include the original director. Because like there were two guys that made Stargate, one of them passed away, and they didn't want to include the other guy. And I was like, okay, another Lord of the Rings, right? Because like the thing with the Lord of the Rings was that Amazon made it. Apparently Jeff Bezos' son was very excited about it and shit. Turns out that the original guy who directed the movie, Lord of the Rings, that he wanted to get involved with the project. And he even said that he will do it pro fucking bono. Because he likes Lord of the... They didn't want to hire him. So now you get the Rings of Power plus Privilege, which is Amazon shit. I mean, what can you do about it? You know, it's... just major disappointments. Hello, Katis. Yeah, the rise of $30-$40 game, the rise of free games. I mean, Nikkei is dominating. A lot of people go, well, Nikkei is just tits and guns. And I'm like, yes, that's all you fucking need. That's all you fucking need. Well, apparently it has a great story too. Okay. Sure. I don't know. I never played Nikkei. But what I do know is that it's printing money. You can't make Nikkei in the way. You know what they did? You know what they did, chat, yesterday? The people who made that, who are in charge of Dungeons and Dragons, made an interview saying that the original Dungeons and Dragons would never be approved today. And I'm like, well, shouldn't you fire the approval team then? Like, the gatekeepers that say that Dungeons and Dragons shouldn't be made today, aren't they the problem? I mean, it's a game that is so famous. You go into Uganda, and the people that speak Bantu, they know about Dungeons and Dragons. I guarantee to you. You can go in any corner of the earth, and you will find people, and if you ask them about Dungeons and Dragons, they will know what it is. They probably don't know how to play it, but they have heard of it. I guarantee to you, they have heard of it. They at least know what it's about. And you're telling me that a game of a magnitude of a success wouldn't get approved today? So aren't the approval lists the problem rather than the game? Yeah, I wanted to rant about the topic of the video. So we're going to rant about that. But I got distracted with this Fallout nonsense. Look at this shit. This is from the academics, right? When they say academics and journalists, this is what they mean. Look, this is from a game development conference, all right? Mainstream games soft sell white supremacy. Like, what the fuck is that? First of all, I don't think that white supremacy means what you think it means. Like, they don't think it's an ideology that makes white people super. No. They have a different definition. And soft sell It literally means it's like some muddled word, like whatever, you know, some pseudo hogwash. Soft sell. Like what is soft sell? And this causes a lack of industry diversity. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Half of the games come from Asia. Like, half of the games come from South Korea, Japan, and most gamers right now, they are playing those games. They're playing those games. Like, what lack of diversity? And by the way, everyone keeps giving them the racist card of all white people look the same. I don't think that video games coming from Poland, Russia, or Ukraine. So we're talking about Pathfinder, Wrath of Righteous. That's a Russian game, by the way. And then you have, what was it? Metro? I think Metro is Ukrainian, right? Like, you got games from Eastern Europe. The very fact that you're comparing me with the Montreal Ubisoft bullshit is very disrespectful. Like, I generally take offense from that. You know, like, as an Eastern European, please stop comparing me with those people. Right? Like, our entertainment is our entertainment. Let me be proud of it. So no, there is no such a thing of lack of industry diversity. Now if you want to go back and play games since before that, since Baldur's Gate, since Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, games had a lot of diversity. Like they're trying to erase history and pretend, all of this shit, you know, like you got diversity now because we came in. Because all of these consultants came in back in 2018, that's why you have diversity. Play Mass Effect. Mass Effect has diversity. Since Mass Effect 1, and before that, Dragon Age has diversity. It's like, no, they're talking shit. Mortal Kombat, I grew up with that game. It's got diversity. The fuck are they talking about? Privileging the white male gamer. They always focus on games that first of all, like white male gamer, right? What is the difference between a white male gamer and a black male gamer? I would really love to ask one of these academics, like, what are the preferences of a black male gamer versus the preferences of a white male? Like, how do they differ? They probably won't answer that because that's a racist question, right? But like when they make the racist statement, that's fine. They talk about games that are meant for men, right? Like they don't talk about games that are made for women. They will never talk about Candy Crush, Stardew Valley, point-and-click hidden object games. They probably don't even know what the fuck those are. They don't talk about the phone games, right? They talk about Call of Duty. Call of Duty, yeah, it's a game for men. And even then, I wouldn't say that there are games for men and women. There are games for kids. There are games for young boys, right? So for teenagers. There are games for older men. And then you have games for young women and games for older women. Like, for example, casino slots games are very popular with older women. I don't know why, but I do know that I wouldn't play that. So they hyper-focus the conversation on Call of Duty and they pretend like the entire industry spins around Call of Duty, which is false. But apparently because Little Billy plays Fortnite and Fortnite has lack of diversity, Little Billy becomes a misogynist pig. This is what the academics think, right? Like they stood long and hard to come up with these concepts. Because it goes unchallenged. Because they you know what you see here? The circle, it's a circle jerk. That's what it is. They never get to defend their arguments in public. They never get to go to a debate. So they come up with the craziest, dumbest stakes, right? So like, look at this. Hardcore gamers and the manosphere. Gamergate. Normalizing extremist discourse and ideology. Right, so because you play Tetris, it leads to misogyny, Gamergate, and right? So you need to hire the consultant in order to make Tetris more inclusive so that this doesn't happen. What they are basically saying is that art needs to be censored, right? Like there is no difference anymore between the Soviet Union, China, Nazi Germany, and what these people are trying to accomplish. They're basically saying that the artist can't do whatever they want, the poet can't write whatever they want, the storyteller can't tell what stories they want to say, and gamers shouldn't be allowed to talk to each other without a chaperone. Because this is how it all began, right? I keep saying this, but let me show you something, right? I'll show you something really cool. So let me see if I can find an example. Right. See, I managed to find something. This is going to create a lot of nostalgia in a lot of you gentlemen. So this right here is how a computer looked in the year 2000, right? And you had your games. You got the Resident Evil, you had the Duke Nukem, the Mech Warrior, and shit. Some games had multiplayer, others didn't. But let's say you look at Quake, right? So where is Quake? Where's Quake? Oh, Quake 2 or Half-Life. Half-Life is my favorite game, right? So Half-Life. You double click this and you are in the game. There was no user, no password, no that. You double clicked it and you were in the fucking game, chat. Can you believe that? No user, no password, no nothing, no. You didn't have to. At this point, I think even even Steam didn't exist. Maybe I'm a little bit wrong, right? Like maybe you needed Steam to play Half-Life. No, I think actually no. Like first came Half-Life and Steam came later. Yeah, so like when Half-Life released, I'm pretty certain you double clicked it, you are in the fucking game. That's it. No user, no launcher, no. And when you are in the game, you clicked multiplayer and there was a list of servers. You double clicked one, and you were in the server. And as long as another person anywhere in the world clicked the same server as you, that's it. You could play. There was no terms of service. There was no censorship. There was no nothing. You were in the fucking game. You could talk with the other person as much as you wanted. There was no, and it wasn't just Half-Life, everything, right? You could play Warcraft 3, same thing. Warcraft 3 did have Battle.net. But like the idea was that there were no terms of service. There was nothing that could get you banned. You could say anything. You didn't like what a person had to say, you muted them. Now, if you're an asshole, people would mute you. And after enough people muted you, you realize, no, I don't have any friends. So you had to change, right? Now it's not like that. Now if you want to play, you gotta, like, first of all, you don't even own your fucking game, right? Like back then, you had Half-Life probably on a compact disc. It was yours. You owned it. You install it. No one can take it away from you. Now, you don't own your games. Now you get to pay $90 in order to just have access for a server that allows you, like licenses you the right to play the game. But you don't really own the game. Like at any point, you can get booted off, kicked off. In order to be on that service, you need a two-factor authentication system. So you basically need to give them your phone number, which is sometimes tied to your ID, right? You need to give them your email so they have your entire SOCMED. And if you say anything that's against terms of service, you get banned. And in some cases, you can even get arrested. Like Ubisoft is working with the British police in order to arrest gamers. And you're telling me that they're fighting fascism and they're fighting white supremacy? I don't think so. Not with the way the internet is going. I'm sorry. No. I blame Ninja for hardcore gamer meme than PewDiePie. I agree with Ethic Weeb Sony Check for Dead or Alive member lost of fan service. Oh my god. Okay, so this is another thing which happened. Dead or Alive. Let me see if I can find it. So Dead or Alive is a mediocre fighting game. Like it doesn't really have much going for it in terms of gameplay mechanics. So people buy it due to other reasons. Right? So you have like this Japanese game. And again, it's a fighting game, right? Like you have it. It's got an entire legacy for it. It's very famous. But again, like people only buy it for for two reasons actually, not one. Yeah, people buy it for two reasons. And they had this presentation at Evo. Evo is this place where you have a big fighting game competition, right? So like if you're anyone interested in fighting games, you probably know what Evo is. It's this big tournament. It happens once a year. And, part of it is to also sponsor various games. And Dead or Alive used two very beautiful Asian women, like boof babes, in order to sponsor it. So let me see if I can find it. Boof babe Evo Dead or Alive. Now this was, I think, like 2018 or so. I don't know if I can find the actual the actual commercial, but like, okay, I want. Oh, here we go. Right. Yeah. So they use these two ladies, the company that has Dead or Alive. They use these two ladies in order to sponsor their game. And at one point, these ladies started, I think it was twerking or lewd dancing or something, and the creator of Evo shut down the stream. They shut down the stream and they said, yeah, we do not stand for this. This is not our what did they call it? Our principles, right? This goes against our morals. Recently, it turns out that the person responsible for that event was arrested due to showing indecent pictures to a minor. I guess those were the morals, right? Like those, core values. Yes, core values they called it. Core values. Maybe it was sparking certain things inside him, and it was like, oh shit, this is evil. There's a lot of kids here. Yeah, that happened. I think it was last week. Let me see. Hold on. Evo. Here we go. So, this came out. What was it? Oh, it was actually 4 years ago. All right, I saw it last week. So, a message to all players and attendees. We are aware of the accusations that have been made against Joey. The behavior in these accusations run directly counter to EVO's mission of building a safe, welcoming environment for all players and attendees. We take this very seriously. Accordingly, Joey has been placed on administrative policy. Was this the only one, though? Because, like, I remember yesterday, I saw it trending on Twitter. Oh, there's another one. Oh, they keep coming. Oh, I see. Future of Evo in doubt after Mr. Wizard's sexual misconduct allegations. Oh, okay. So, is it like the Catholic Church? Like every year a new scandal? This is very interesting, yeah. Well, I'm glad that the ladies, the boof babes from Dead or Alive weren't allowed there. Could have damaged their reputation. Not Evos, the boof babes. Like, if I was a boof babe, I wouldn't be one associated with Evo. Anytime someone puts up a moral objection, they should automatically be arrested and investigated. The trend is ironclad at this point. There is actually a file on YouTube. Sorry, on Twitter. Suspiciously big. Like you gotta scroll down through it, because at first when I saw the file, I thought that they have like 3 or 4 cases, but no. Dozens of such cases where people are concerned about anime and fan service, and then they get arrested for stuff with minors. It's bizarre. Like, it is a trend, actually, yes. They're rivaling the Catholic Church. Smash players have a lot of allegations against them. I don't know, like, I haven't followed the Smash community, but, all I know is that you got a person that's, like, really up against, oh my god, my anime this, my anime that. My fan service, my tits. And it makes sense, because they don't like tits. I mean, if you don't like tits, you don't like tits. I don't think that into projection. I don't think it's projection. It's just that they like other things. I wish they didn't, but what can you do? No, it's not. It's not guilt projection. Again, like they're basically not into women with big boobs. It's simple. They're into other things. All right, let me see if I can find out the video of what we were actually supposed to talk about today. I think like Grooms made the. Oh, here we go. No, wait. I accidentally closed it, so. I need to find it again. Oh, look at this. If you're planning to see Red Sonja reboot in cinematics, leave your male gaze at home. Okay, so I'm not going to see it in the... Okay, right. So here we have it, finally. Jesus. Apparently this is sponsored. This is a group which is sponsored by Homeland Security. And there's also another one that's funding the Canadian... the Canadian government is funding Sweet Baby Inc. I think I know why the Canadian government is funding Sweet Baby Inc., to be honest. Like you got all these government funds, these grants. And they're usually pushing for certain things, right? So like... In Canada, like if you are a filmmaker that's, let's say, pushing for diversity, you get a grant, right? So if you're like one of these grifting consultants, you're like, well, why not get the grant then? Might as well, right? So like, it's why Canada is funding it, for those of you who don't know. But listen to this. If you're reading this, you've probably been hearing about what's now being called Gamergate 2. It's the latest targeted harassment campaign within the game industry, and it's aimed at Sweet Baby Inc. This is the first time where the press is complaining about harassing a company. Like, they're not talking about harassing a person. No, they're harassing a company. So I guess Occupy Wall Street, the movement, was harassing Wall Street. Big brain take. A Montreal-based narrative development studio, the campaign also has been impacting entities and games associated with Sweet Baby. I mean, yeah, it's consumer feedback. Right? Like, imagine this. Imagine that I'm an engineer, and I work at 5 different bridges, and they all collapse. Even if it's not my fault, even if I was nowhere near the bridges where like, other people will know, and they will be like, I'm less likely to hire you due to that, right? And yeah, like, if I were to work on a 6th bridge, given my track record, a lot of people will be worried, right? And it will give that 6th bridge a bad name. It's kind of like, there was actually a case in Romania. I mean, this one is quite fascinating, right? So, there was this cat at a hospital. And this cat was called the Cat of Death. It's like, what the fuck is that? Like, it was on the news. This is what the news in Romania is like. So I want you to imagine, there was a cat at a hospital. And every single time she would sleep at the bed of a person, that person would die within a week. I'm not kidding. Like, the doctors noticed this, right? And it was a national headline. It was called the Cat of Death. If that cat slept next to your bed, would you feel safe or not? Like, here's the thing, right? There's no scientific evidence that the cat was actually killing anyone. There's no... I mean, it's a hospital, right? Like, people die. But the simple fact that that cat, you would know that if that cat sleeps next to you, right? Like you know the story. Even though, like, it's scientifically impossible and it's got nothing, right? Like, wouldn't you still be concerned? No, I mean, the cat wasn't killing people. Right? So you would be in your bed, and the cat would sleep at the feet, right? Like it would climb in the bed and it would curl up at your feet and it would sleep. And with one day, like within 1 week, the patient died of heart attack or like completely unrelated with the cat. It was an episode of House. I saw it on Romanian news. No, it wasn't in an ICU. Like, cats aren't allowed in ICU. Ah. My explanation for it, because, like, I remember we were discussing it at med school. My explanation for it is that due to the fact that terminally ill people don't move that much, right? Like, if you're terminally ill, you don't move around in the bed that much. So due to that, the cat would sit there because the person wasn't moving, right? So, like, if the person isn't moving, it's a lot easier for the cat to curl up. I think that was the explanation. Because, like, if you're a person that constantly moves or tries to pet the cat, it would go away. So, like, there's always, like, some logic explanation. But, like... Anyway. So, Discord, Steam, and X have been the predominant platforms. In other words, hey, Discord, Steam, and X, can you ban this? Can you cancel this, please? And as you can see, DHS is literally going after lore developers to make sure that the lore they put in video games don't make gamers become anti-woke radicals. Now, this is actually true. This is actually true, and I will tell you this: when I made my Steam page for my video game, I have to read Steam's terms of service. And there's a lot of ambiguous terms of service on Steam. It's like, don't put hate speech in your game. Don't have shocking content in your game. And it's very bizarre because it's like, well, what the fuck is shocking content? Postal 2 is shocking. I mean, you piss on your father's grave in that game. I would say The Last of Us 2 is shocking. When Abby got shagged, I didn't expect that. Didn't want to see that. I wish someone could take it away from me. But yeah, like, if you want to publish... Like, the thing is, you can make any game you want, right? Like you can make the most offensive, the most awful game. I mean, there was a video game that went into the... discussions a couple of months ago. It allowed you to play as Hamas against the IDF, right? And that game sparked a huge controversy. I don't know if it's still on Steam or not. But my point is, like, you can make any type of game. Of course, making games costs money, right? So, like, if you want to make a game, it costs you around $30,000 minimum. And where are you going to get that money? Now, if you don't have it, you gotta crowdfund. And if your game is problematic, Kickstarter won't allow it. Patreon won't allow it. Right? Like, all these platforms that are for crowdfunding won't give you the cash. So you're going to have to put it from your pocket. Now, where are you going to sell your game? You can't sell it on Steam. You can't sell it on GOG. Right? So you may make a really nice, edgy game. You can make a new Manhunt. What are you going to upload it? Because a lot of people ask, well, what is the creativity on the indie scene, right? Because they grew up with Postal, they grew up with Duke Nukem, they grew up with these games, and they're constantly, well, what is the creativity coming from indie games? Well, the Department of Homeland Security and many other governmental agencies are preventing these games from appearing. And the thing is, like, it's very ambiguous as well, right? Because you got the developers to self-censor to the point of extreme. It's like, okay, no hate speech in gaming, no minorities getting harmed, and you're like, all right, so if I want to create a video game where you're a superhero and you're fighting crime, is it okay if the gang members are of a minority? No. Oh well, I mean, is that hateful conduct if I do? No, you got to make them white, right? Because, like, if they're white, no one complains. So that's what's happening. This is why like so many video games are bland and boring. To be honest, if I wanted to make an edgy game, I would just remove humans altogether. I would have it with animals. You'd have like an Animal Farm type of game, and that's how you'd do it. You would be the sheep fighting the pigs or something, you know, like you would have to be creative. You can't have your video game representing actual people because it gets problematic. No, you're not going to see me in Succubus Fortnite, no. But imagine this, right? Like making a video game takes 1 to 2 years, costs a lot of money. So you put all that energy, all that effort, and your cash, and then you find out that, oh, well, Steam isn't selling it. What do you do then? Happy Tree Friends would probably be fine, yeah, because it doesn't have people in it, right? But if Happy Tree Friends had kids in it, like if it was like with South Park Season 1, I don't think it would fly today. What if the setting is Sub-Saharan Africa? They don't care. The Resident Evil 5. Resident Evil 5 was in Sub-Saharan Africa, and the press was complaining that all the zombies are black. They're not logical. Like they're not analyzing this like a math problem or anything. No, like they just want to ban and they want to censor. Now, if you hire Sweet Baby, then there is no problems, and then it's fine. Which goes to show that many of these Twitter outrages are artificial. Cult of the Lamb is basically everything I described. It doesn't surprise me. Like this is how developers can get away with it. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate the viewership. And as usual, I will see you tomorrow. Take care.